You
Sige,
could
sige.
look at something like Ecomi. Ecomi is not an NFT, but it is a crypto that deals with, it's like a marketplace that deals with collectibles and NFT.
Do you suggest recommendations, or do you recommend cryptocurrencies?
Good question, but I won't answer that. I'll tell you why. The reason I can't give you a suggestion will be, I do not know, number one, what is your investor profile? Number two, I wouldn't know what are your objectives. So I'll give you an example. I might be prepared to stay in a coin for 2 years, and let's say kung tumama na ng, for example, 100%, okay na ako. Eh what if ikaw ang target mo is 300%? So it doesn't matter, di ba? Umpisa pa lang, hindi na tugma yung objectives natin. I'm looking at a coin that might be able to do this. Since your objective is much higher, that same coin might not get to that objective. So it will be difficult for me to give a specific suggestion on long-term holdings. But we can go through what are the strategies or the factors I look at in analyzing the market. Because even if like I always tell people, we could all be looking at exactly the same chart. We might even all have, by coincidence, exactly the same entry price. I'm pretty sure all of us will have a different exit price because all of us have different objectives. It's highly unlikely that we will all exit at the same time.
I think for me, we'll also agree, and James, we're not financial advisors. And so we cannot tell you financial advice kasi mahirap na, di ba? If you tell anyone, bili ka nito, buy Doge, or buy Ethereum, which of course, Ethereum is a project na okay, but there are some cryptocurrencies that, sabi nga ni Fermin, yung word niya dun shitcoins, na if we recommend it, of course, we're not gonna do that.
Let's say like right now, di ba? Given nga my background in finance, I'm looking at a number of cryptos which are in the decentralized finance space, especially in the field of insurance. Bakit insurance? Kasi nakikita natin, di ba? Let's look at traditional banking. Insurance came about precisely because when you've got, as the term implies, insurance, you want protection. Not necessarily because it is something that you want to use, but at least if you needed to, you had it. Given what's happening in the cryptocurrency space, mga rug pull, mga exchange hack, they already have cryptos in insurance for that space. It's a small market, but I believe it's going to grow. So I am looking at a number of cryptos in the insurance space.
So, having said that, you're looking at, di ba sabi, tinanong kita namin, ano yung ikatwit mo, so you've given mga financial related, since you're from finance. So, is this the same as the investment horizon you look at, mostly financial? Or, do you have anything else that you're looking at right now that you wanted to share?
Yes, obviously, well, related to that, we've already seen related to DeFi, we've also seen the boom in NFTs.
True.
I am looking at a number of tokens which deal with the NFT and collectible space. I'm also looking at some tokens which are not necessarily, well, what's the single biggest thing that an NFT can provide? Aside from the fact that it's unique, an NFT is proof of ownership / authenticity. Diba? So I'm looking at cryptos which will play a role in determining authenticity of assets going forward. Let's say like there is a crypto which is involved in ticketing. Diba? One of the biggest problems right now is scalpers with tickets and fake tickets. There's a cryptocurrency which is looking to solve that problem because they will do it via NFTs. So
like mga sports event, you're telling.
Yes, sports events, concerts. Okay. So there is a crypto which is specifically looking to address the problem of counterfeits in tickets. Tinitingnan ko yan.
Backtracking of our discussions in the previous weeks or previous sessions, you mentioned that you are not yet, or hindi ka ba convinced to, well, correct me if I'm wrong, if I've heard it wrong, na hindi ka pa, kung ikaw hindi ka pa bibili ng NFT. But right now, at the tone that you are saying, you're looking into it now. I mean, inaaral mo na siya ngayon.
No.
Kasi,
I will not buy the NFT, but I will buy cryptos that deal with NFT. So let me give you an example. I'll give you an example of the difference. You could look at something like Ecomi. Ecomi is not an NFT, but it is a crypto that deals with, it's like a marketplace that deals with collectibles and NFT. So it's not an
branded
NFT
collectibles yan, di ba, si Ecomi? Tama ba, Sir Fermin? These are dealing with mga branded collectibles si Ecomi. Right?
Yes. Diba? So it deals with NFT, but it's not an NFT. Then you could look at, let's say, like Rarible. Rarible is a marketplace for NFTs. So it will ride on the boom of NFTs, but it's not an NFT.
So it's like you're saying to us rather that you will be investing or trading yung mga fungible tokens related to NFTs. Kasi 'di ba, for you to trade NFT, any NFT is for you to have like a fungible token that backs it up, or that actually in circulation para makabili ka of a particular NFT that you wanted to buy. So that currency that you will use to buy the NFT, those currencies you will trade.
Correct.
Okay,
because when we're talking about looking at the charts, it's difficult as it is to make price predictions on a crypto chart. What more for the chart of an NFT where the price can be very subjective. Let's give an example. If it's an NFT for art, let's say if it's an artist that you like, James, you would be willing to pay top dollar for it. If it's an artist I don't like, I probably wouldn't even pay $1 for it. Diba? So when you're talking about, let's say, NFT in art is really subjective. I mean, who determines, let's say, that the Mona Lisa is worth that much? It's because there are people that want to buy that particular piece of art. That's why it's very high. But there are people that don't find the Mona Lisa entertaining or attractive. They would want to have it just because they know the value. But if they didn't know the value, there are people who would look at the Mona Lisa and say, so what's so special about it? Diba? So when you're talking about NFTs in art, the value is really subjective. So that's even more difficult to predict. I will share what's the coin that I'm looking at, but as I said nga, in terms of entry price, exit price, no need, because first and foremost, iba-iba yung objectives natin. But I can certainly tell you some of those that I'm looking at.
And disclaimer lang for me. Sige, para sa mga viewers, by the way, these are not financial advices. Okay, kumbaga, of course, based from his research yung i-share niya. Alright, sige, for me.
Of course, I will answer that by saying, I am looking at it. It doesn't so I am looking at it because of certain criteria that I have. You may have a different set of criteria. I am looking at Uniswap. Now, we've seen already that the centralized exchanges, there are limits, or there are pros and cons to the centralized exchanges. That's the reason why they came up with decentralized exchanges. The biggest one on the decentralized exchange, Uniswap. And I think that as the years go by, lalaki rin yung share ng decentralized exchange compared to centralized exchange. So if we're looking naman at NFTs and collectibles, or anything in what I call the NFT and collectible space, I'm looking at Flow. Yes.
CryptoKitties, tsaka yung
NBA Top Shot. Yes. Because if you look at
Flow.
Sorry?
Bakit Flow?
If you look at the portfolio of projects they have. Now, one of the good things about NFTs for collectibles, diba? When you talk about use case in crypto, the challenge there is to come up with a use case that will justify why do you need a crypto. What do I mean? Diba? That's why sometimes you will have cryptos na when they tell you this is what it's going to be used for, ang tinatanong yung sarili ninyo, o sige, naintindihan ko yan, pero why did you need to create a crypto for that? Hindi mo naman kailangan gumawa ng crypto for that particular purpose. Diba? So, one of the most difficult things is to come up with a valid use case that justifies why you need a crypto. Now, the collectible market already existed even before crypto came into existence. So, kumbaga, it's not a market you need to create. Nandyan na yan. And now that they're moving over into the digital world via the NFTs, then I believe there is an opportunity there. So if you look at the brands that Flow has, NBA Top Shot, UFC, CryptoKitties, Dr. Seuss. So they have a number of really good high-profile brands. So again, that's why I'm looking at it. Doesn't necessarily mean that I have entered it. And when I also talked about addressing the problem of counterfeits in tickets, I'm looking at Get Protocol. So these are three, which again, to repeat the disclaimer that Coach Jonathan made, not financial advice. These are three that I am looking at based on my criteria. Iba-iba ang criteria ninyo. You may agree, you may not agree, you may have a totally different choice of cryptos to look at. Pero me, base sa criteria na tinitingnan ko yung tatlong yan sa ngayon.
Ayun. Sige, again these are not financial advices. So hindi porkat sinabi ni Fermin, ito yung kanyang tinitingnan, ito na yung bibilin mo. Right? So still need to do your own research. Because again, it's sabihin natin, it's subjective, or sabihin natin, it's andyan yung volatility, di ba? Kumbaga unpredicted yung possible na mangyari sa market, particularly on those asset class or cryptocurrencies. So it's better na you do your own research, and if you're planning to bet, di ba, on those cryptocurrencies, so small size lang, but try small, start small.